But first, we are following breaking news in Dallas tonight. Dozens of people being evacuated from an apartment building this evening after a fire broke out, causing part of the roof to collapse there. You can see some of that damage from that burned out building. This is happening at the Lakeside Apartments on Gulf Lakes Trail. That's just east of Highway 75 near Presbyterian, Dallas. We got a look here at the tremendous response from Dallas Fire Rescue tonight. Firefighters say the flames broke out around 8 p.m. An estimated 50 to 60 firefighters were called in to get that fire under control. But again, as you look at these images here, you can see quite a bit of damage there. We know that at least one person is being treated for smoke inhalation. The American Red Cross now helping about 20 residents who have been displaced because of that fire. We will bring you more updates as those come in here throughout the evening. Before we move any further with the news, let's check in on your weather. Thanks for being with us, by the way, everybody, on this Sunday evening. I'm Jason Wheeler, in for Teresa Woodard tonight, along with meteorologist Cassie Hyder. Cassie, we've got some more chances of rain on the way this week, which is a very needed thing here in North Texas right now. And it looks like these cool temperatures were not an anomaly this weekend. No.
In fact, we've got more of those on the way. Today was really nice. I mean, we got into the 70s. We had lots of sun. And tomorrow will be fairly similar. Right now, we've only dropped down to 63 degrees. The wind is light. We still have mostly clear skies. Dew points are in the upper 30s, so it's not nearly as humid as what it seems like most of last week was. We're at 57 degrees in Denton, 58 in Decatur, 60 in Fort Worth, 55 degrees right now in Terrell. Satellite and radar showing all the sunshine we had earlier today. Now we've got those high thin cirrus clouds moving in from the west. So as we go throughout the rest of this evening and overnight tonight, I expect us to keep some of those clouds around. Now tomorrow I went ahead and added a chance of rain, but the coverage is going to be very low. I think most of the day will be dry, but it looks like later in the afternoon, some of the rain that we're expecting to develop to our southwest of the Metroplex will try to make its way into DFW. So I'm going to go with about a 10% coverage. So by the time we get to Tuesday, though, we are still tracking a better chance of rain, looking at about 40% coverage. And right now on Wednesday, just a 10%. We're going to keep Thursday and Friday dry for now. We're going to see some up and down temperatures. We're going to talk about when those next cold fronts will be moving in and what those temperatures look like coming up in just a little bit. Jason.
All right. Thank you, Cassie. We continue to follow developing news out of Shreveport tonight, where officials say a gunman killed 8 children, including 7 of his own. He also shot 2 other people early this morning in what's being called a domestic violence attack. The victims ranging in age from just 3 years old to 11. Police were first alerted to this when they received a domestic violence call from a home in Shreveport, which is a little less than 3 hours east of Dallas. ABC's Allison Koski has an update tonight on what investigators have learned so far.
Tonight, a community shocked and a family devastated after a deadly shooting in Shreveport, Louisiana. Police say 8 children were shot and killed.
The suspect in this case, this is entirely a domestic incident. So the suspect shot the mother of the children first, then responded to this location and shot 8 children, 7 of which being his own.
Investigators say the shooting unfolded around 6 a.m. local time across multiple locations. One scene described by police as gruesome. The victims, children, 3 boys and 5 girls, ranging in age from 3 to 11.
There was an additional deceased child that looked like he had tried to escape the residence out the back on the roof.
Authorities say the children's mother and another woman are fighting for their lives tonight. The alleged gunman, identified as 31-year-old Shamar Elkins, killed following a police chase. Neighbors distraught hearing the news.
We don't know what has happened, but we know it's still a God above, and we need prayer.
House Speaker Mike Johnson, who represents the district where the shooting took place, offered prayers for the victims and their families.
This is totally an unprovoked circumstance involving 8 children. It lets you know that evil still exists in the world.
Allison Cossack, ABC News, New York.
Tonight in Fort Worth, a missing persons case has turned into a murder investigation now. Police say their week began with a search for a man who did not return home from work, but by week's end, his body was found in an open field on the city's east side. As our Brittany Costello reports tonight, police say surveillance video helped lead them to a suspect who reportedly worked with the man.
Fort Worth police put out this missing persons post on Tuesday. They say family members reported 31-year-old Thomas King as missing when he didn't come home from work after his shift at an East Fort Worth Taco Casa the night before.
We end up getting a call a few days later about a body that's deceased on the east part of Fort Worth.
Fort Worth Police Department's Buddy Calzada says they found Thomas King's body in an open field Friday. And by then, they had leads on a suspect. Fort Worth investigators tracked the victim's car to this Quality Inn in Arlington. Police say surveillance video shows the suspect drive up and park it. Police identified that man as 34-year-old Gregory Lewis, a man who worked with the victim at that East Fort Worth Taco Casa. The manager confirmed both men had been employed there.
He was actually arrested on an unrelated charge. When we started talking to him about the actual case involving this murder, he confessed to it.
He told police he shot King and stole his car. Employees at Taco Casa say they are shocked.
The way this unfolded is very sad and very tragic. It's hardest for the family.
Calzada says homicide detectives are working to uncover exactly what led up to it. In Fort Worth, I'm Brittany Costello.
Tonight, a Dallas police officer is expected to make a recovery after a traffic stop in Highland Park turned violent. That officer pulled over a driver on Mockingbird Lane near Preston this morning because they didn't have their headlights on, and that's when the passenger, they say, got out and punched the officer, who then fired his weapon and hit the passenger. The driver left the scene and has yet to be captured as far as we know. The officer and the passenger were both rushed to the hospital. Let's take a look ahead to tomorrow night. A big traffic change for drivers in western Tarrant County, one that you want to be aware of. Westbound I-30 is going to be shut down overnight starting tomorrow from I-820 to Chapel Creek Boulevard. Those closures will run from 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. nightly through Thursday. This is all to allow crews to work on bridge construction signs out there will be able to divert drivers onto a detour, though. So you want to keep an eye out if you drive through that area.
I'm Jason Whiteley. This week could be a turning point in Arlington. City Council votes on Tuesday on a deal to keep the Dallas Cowboys there through 2055. Listen, there's no debate about the team's impact on the city. The real question, though, should taxpayers spend another $250 million on AT&T Stadium without having a vote? The price tag here, $273 million in tax money, funded by a half-cent sales tax, the same tax that voters did approve 20 years ago to build the stadium. But when the stadium was paid off, that tax didn't disappear. It shifted over to Globe Life Field. And when that's paid off eventually, Councilman Bowie Hogg from Arlington said the idea right now to shift that money right back to AT&T Stadium.
But that tax, that half-cent tax, was supposed to burn off at some point, right? I mean, it seems like it's never going to end if this happens.
Yeah, we've paid off the Cowboys stadiums, and now we're paying off Globe Life for the Rangers. And so this tax coming back, we do have to be cautious over that because it is taxpayers' money, whether they live in Arlington or it's also, as people said, other people's money from other people visiting Arlington. But it doesn't matter where you live. It's still taxpayers' dollars.
That taxpayer money would fund security upgrades and improvements around the stadium, like sidewalks, roads, and infrastructure. But the timeline here is moving fast. Announced just last week, final vote on Tuesday. We go deeper on this on Inside Texas Politics. If you missed the program, you can see the entire interview with Councilman Bowie Hogg. It's on our streaming app, WFAA Plus, free to download. They're on your smart TV.
New tonight now, a year and a half after the city of Dallas raised its minimum on-street parking meter rate for most of the city, that same hike is now coming for the deep Ellum neighborhood as well. Starting May 8th, the city is raising meter rates to $1 per hour, matching the rest of Dallas after years without changes. The price hike was originally delayed because of the ongoing Commerce Street reconstruction project, but it's just about here now. And a warning, city leaders say it may not stop here. They're going to keep on tracking demand and parking occupancy rates to see if maybe more changes are needed to keep up with demand. Well, today marks the end of a 51-day standoff in Waco, Texas between federal agents and the Branch Davidians on the morning of April 19, 1993. That's when the FBI launched tear gas onto that compound. The Branch Davidians started shooting at law enforcement. Later that afternoon, a fire sparked in the compound you can see there, killing cult leader David Koresh and 76 others inside. The murder trial of former FedEx delivery driver Tanner Horner will resume tomorrow morning, but without the jury. The judge will be hearing from expert witnesses tomorrow and Tuesday. Kevin Reese explains what to expect when Horner's defense begins presenting its case.
Jurors cried, some wept openly as the prosecution played the audio recording from inside Tanner Horner's delivery truck, the 1-hour audio recording. 7-year-old Athena Strand asking if he is a kidnapper, Horner telling her to take off her shirt, Athena crying and screaming for her mom, telling Horner, "My mom says you can't do that to me." The sounds then of a brutal murder and Athena's final gasp for air. And then this video, Horner cleaning up his truck after he dumped Athena's body. He lights a cigarette, goes back to work as if nothing happened.
It's a clear-cut case of premeditation, calculation, deviance, and murder.
Then the next day, Horner driving through the neighborhood again as the search for Athena was underway. Prosecutors say it shows how uncaring he is, simply going on with his life.
It made me feel horrible.
After both of Athena's parents testified this past week, the prosecution has rested its case.
I was there when she took her first steps and said her first word, but I wasn't there when she took her last.
This week begins with the defense trying to prove Horner is autistic, that he has an alter ego, that he has some sort of mental defect that might save him from death row.
I don't think there's any way a defense expert can come in and provide any mitigating evidence that will overcome what we heard and saw in the courtroom.
When the jury returns on Wednesday, the defense plans to call Horner's mother as a witness if they can locate her, telling the judge she struggles with substance abuse and mental health issues and has been difficult to find. In Dallas, I'm Kevin Reese.
The jury has Monday off, so we will be re-airing the second day of testimony in the trial on our streaming app. Remember, WFAA Plus, totally free for you to download. We're doing gavel-to-gavel coverage there. You can also get updates daily at WFAA.com. We know a lot of people have been following this case. New developments now in the war with Iran. President Trump now speaking out about negotiations between the U.S. and Iran, saying that an agreement will happen, quote, one way or another. This comes as there are conflicting claims tonight about who really has control over the Strait of Hormuz. Less than a day after saying that the waterway was open, 2 ships came under fire while trying to pass through it. The U.S. has a blockade in place as well out there, but Iran says its Navy is the one controlling that passage. The U.S. forcibly seized an Iranian-flagged cargo ship the Pentagon says was trying to avert that U.S. blockade. Meantime, U.S. representatives are planning to head to Islamabad, Pakistan for more peace talks with Iran, while the president is warning that attacks could continue if no agreement is reached before Wednesday, when that ceasefire expires.